Hello everyone, welcome to this presentation. My name is Zayan and I'll be taking you through the story of one of the most audacious cyber attacks in modern financial history. It is a 2016 Bangladesh central bank heist. In early February of that year, hackers tried to steal nearly $1 billion from the Bangladesh central bank's account at the Federal Reserve Bank of New York. Even though most of the fraudulent transactions were ultimately blocked, the criminals still managed to get away with $101 million, making this attack one of the largest cyber heists ever recorded. Now let's start with some background information. The Bangladesh Central Bank found itself at the center of a sophisticated plot that highlighted glaring cybersecurity vulnerabilities in its network. The attackers managed to break into the bank's internal systems using malware, possibly introduced through a phishing email. Once they got inside, they carefully observed the day-to-day operations of the bank and examined how the legitimate SWIFT transactions were authorized, and they used these information to create genuine-looking transfer requests. Oh, SWIFT is a system banks rely on for secure messaging rather than direct fund transfers. Still depends heavily on the internal security practices of each bank. Unfortunately, certain computers at Bangladesh Bank lacked proper firewalls that were connected to both the Swift terminals and the open internet. Now, moving on to how the heist actually took place. After infiltrating the bank's network, the hackers monitored daily routines and learned the approval processes. They then extracted valid Swift credentials. This gave them the power to send out high-value transfer messages as if they were coming from the authorized officials. Because of some of the bank's security practices weren't thoroughly enforced, like the network segmentation and robust authentications, these criminals remained undetected for quite some time in the bank's networks. Next, let's talk about the role timing played in this attack. In Bangladesh, the weekend starts on Friday. The hackers executed their plan precisely at the beginning of that weekend, which was Friday, ensuring minimal staff availability to catch suspicious activity. They also took advantage of time zone differences and international holidays. By Sunday, while Bangladesh bank officials returned to work, they noticed the foreign orders and tried to warn the Federal Reserve banks in New York. However, it was still the weekend in the United States, and by the time the US staff returned to work on a Monday, a large portion of the money, around $81 million, had already been funneled into fictitious accounts at Jupiter Street branch of RCBC Bank in the Philippines. Another twist involved a simple spelling error. One of the fraudulent transfer instructions misspelled the word foundation as "foundation", prompting the Touch Bank to seek clarification. This triggered enough suspicion to freeze and eventually reverse a separate $20 million transfer bound for Sri Lanka. Had it not been for that minor misspelling, the hackers might have succeeded in siphoning off even more funds. In the end, even though $20 million transaction were reversed, the $81 million transaction was still lost in Philippines. So, what vulnerabilities made this attack possible? First, there was insufficient network segmentations, so critical systems were neither isolated from each other nor properly firewalled from the public internet. Second, strong authentication mechanisms were missing, making it easier for attackers to use stolen Swift credentials and being undetected. Third, the bank lacked continuous monitoring and timely patching. Without consistent oversight, hackers found it easier to roam the network of the bank. Finally, the employees were not adequately trained to spot and report phishing emails. From this cyber heist, we can extract crucial cybersecurity lessons. Banks must ensure that their high-level systems are strictly segmented from less secure parts of the network. And they should also make sure of continuous monitoring and timely patching as they are necessary to catch and address anomalies quickly. Multi-factor authentications can also stop criminals from running rampant with stolen credentials. And regular penetration testing is also vital in identifying weaknesses before the hackers do. And last but not least, Effective employee education is key to preventing phishing attacks and social engineering in the first place. In conclusion, the 2016 Bangladesh Central Bank heist shows us even the most secure interbank systems like SWIFT depend on each bank's internal cybersecurity measures. When those measures fall short, criminals can exploit them with shocking speed and efficiency. Strengthening policies, training staff, and adopting robust and layered defenses aren't just optional, they're essential for safeguarding vital financial systems. Thank you for listening and thank you for your time. I hope this overview of this Bangladesh Central Bank heist shows you why a holistic approach to cybersecurity is very important. Thank you again.